Hi, it's Simon here, and in this video I'm going to take you through the process of setting up a workflow in Ninjodo. So we're going to use an example that's pretty straightforward, and every business should have this one set up and structured, is your sales flow. Now we've preloaded a sales flow into your account, but we're going to use the same one as an example for building a workflow so that you can see the steps we go through and then actually go and build that for what makes sense in your business. So to build a workflow, we go up to the top right hand side of the screen, click on the three dots, that's getting you to your admin panel. From your admin panel, look down the admin menu on the left and we want to look for the workflows item. So click on that. And then straight away you can start creating a new workflow. If you've already got workflows in your account and you want to edit them, just look at the drop down menu here and you can see all of your workflows available. Click on the one that you want to make a change to. But for now we're going to actually create a new one. So I'm going to call this one just sales flow. Nice and simple. I'm going to see that workflow name in any drop down menus or on screen, so it's helpful for me. Next, we need to choose what this flow is for. Now, Ninjodo has three different types of workflows. One is for a person, and that will track a person from one step to another. You can only have a person in one flow at a time. Next option is a deal-based workflow. So this is when you've made a sale with someone and you want to track that sale through a certain process. Maybe there's certain onboarding steps you've got to do, certain emails that need to go out, tasks that need to be ticked off, things like that. Finally, there's an email workflow. So if you want someone to get a series of emails or conditional emails sent for different things. So this would be if you were nurturing a lead or handling an incoming website inquiry, things like that. For now, we're going to be tracking a new lead through the sales process. We're going to just use person as the type of workflow. Once you've got that, click on Save Workflow, and we want to add our first step. So when we think about a workflow, try and take a pen and paper or a whiteboard and just map out some of the basic steps that you take people through. I always recommend the very first step is just a starting point. So if we think about our sales flow, we have either a new lead, that could be a sales conversation, an email comes in, or a website inquiry comes in the door. It's just an initial starting point that separates a general contact that you might have for any reason to someone who's moved into a sales conversation. So we'll set up a new lead as our first step. And we're just going to go through the process of adding each of the steps first. So once we have a new lead, we're going to have some back and forth. Could be emails, could be phone calls, could be face-to-face meetings. So we like to refer to that stage as qualifying. This is where you're going to find out, do you want to keep working with this person? Are they the right kind of fit for you? Can they afford your services? And so within that, there could be all sorts of things. That could be a really quick process. Some people might fly straight past it onto subsequent stages. If you want to think about steps, don't look at them as things to tick off and get done. These are more milestones that you're walking someone through or walking a deal towards. So it's being reached by moving forward. Within each step or within each milestone, different things can happen, like things to tick off, emails to send, tags to be added or removed. That's fine. So once we do a qualifying stage, you might have to do a subsequent meeting or a phone call just to sort of qualify things or get it from being a basic inquiry right through to a real live sales discussion. So we just put an extra one in there for second phone call or meeting. Now, if you're dealing with 20 leads, some of them are going to be more qualified than others, so you might have them separated across two sections. Once we create this, we'll put someone in the sales flow, we'll go to the activity center and see where these workflows show up in Ninjodo. From there, if the meeting goes well, you're going to send either a quote over to them or a proposal of some sort, or even just an email confirming the details of what the next steps are. So we're going to put those steps in, and I recommend we split them into two stages. The quote sent is one stage, and the quote accepted is the other stage. And that's going to allow you to really quickly see whether you need to be following up with someone or whether it's time to actually onboard them, send an invoice, that sort of thing. So we'll add our next step, quote sent, could be proposal sent, whatever works in your business, could be contract, and then quote accepted. And then assuming that all goes well, the quote gets accepted, what is the next step for you. In some businesses, you might be moving straight into some sort of deal at that point that you want to track the fulfillment of what they've bought or what they're paying for. We always recommend, if you haven't got it in place already, try and get some sort of deposit or payment in advance to make sure that that lead, that customer, has some investment in the relationship. As a small business or as a solopreneur, you don't want to be trying to do all this work and deliver this work to people and then be chasing payment for 14 days, 28 days, 45 days. So we like to make sure that there's some skin in the game from both parties. So we do invoice sent, might be deposit sent, whatever it is. Start small if you're not comfortable with it yet. And then invoice paid. And that would be the step that triggers them to becoming a real customer, the invoice paid. In your business, it could be a contract signed, could be just quote accepted and they're signing on the dotted line, could even just be an email saying, yep, ready to go ahead. Do whatever you can to work some sort of payment in this end of the sales process. Once they've reached this final stage, invoice paid, technically they've become a customer now, and you're going to move them into a deal workflow of some sort. That's going to be different from business to business and even from product to product. So right now, that's the basic steps in a sales flow. We have a brand new lead when the inquiry comes through via phone, a meeting, or a website, for example. We're then going to back and forth with them via qualifying. We're then going to progress them to a more qualified discussion. We're then going to send a quote of some sort. They'll accept, we'll send across an invoice, they'll pay, and we move forward. So that's the basics of setting up a workflow. In a separate video, we'll go through adding in some automation into these different steps.